So you heard a lot about connectivity and data, but there are other aspects to the new mobility that is emerging. And one very important aspect, as you heard from CEOs of leading car manufacturers and even oil and gas companies like BP, is the ability to have the same consumer experience, the same end user experience as with fueling today of combustion engine cars. And this is what StoreDot is all about. This is our vision. So if you can sort of imagine what you can do in 5 minutes, there are plenty of things that you can do. You can text a friend, you can just relax, but with StoreDot you will also be able to charge your car. So we have assembled a great team of leading scientists, electrochemists, organic chemists, device engineers, all with one purpose: to think out of the box and figure out what is the right chemistry that will support fast diffusion in a lithium-ion battery that will enable 5-minute charging, meaning bringing very high currents to a battery system with still keeping the safety that is necessary and required, not bursting into flames, not heating up, etc. We've done that with raising considerable cash. We have very strong IP portfolio, and we keep working very aggressively on our IP strategy and writing patents, new patents every day, almost. And not less importantly, we brought in very strategic partners as our investors, the likes of Daimler, BP, TDK, Samsung, and others. So why is StoreDot unique? There are a few features on the uniqueness of StoreDot. First of all, we only focus on fast charging. The battery industry used to focus more on energy density, providing enough range. But in StoreDot, we are focused solely on one thing, and that is fast charging. And we innovate across all the elements in a battery system. So not only one thing, not just focusing on the anode or the cathode. It's a system that needs to work in harmony. And when you take it to an extreme like we do, we have to innovate on all the various elements. We came up with and invested a lot in state-of-the-art R&D facilities. But what we do also is very rapid prototyping. So the way we develop the batteries are more similar to the pharmaceutical industry than to the battery industry. So we do very rapid prototyping. We get very fast feedback, so we can do multiple experiments same time and decide on the right direction. Just a word on the technology itself. We're not just using off-the-shelf compounds. We actually also use materials that we synthesize ourselves. We have a very strong synthesis group. We write patents on new molecules that help us to achieve what we need to achieve in this system. And we are still talking about lithium-ion batteries. So the inside of the battery is very different. But on the outside, it's very suitable for mass production, which is very, very important when we take it to the next level and produce it in millions of batteries every month. As I've mentioned before, we're taking a holistic approach, so we touch on every single element, we innovate on every single element, and that includes even the way that we charge our batteries, the way that we do the formation of the batteries. It's very different than other battery systems out there. This is just one example that you can see here. When you bring very high currents to a battery system, you have swelling and contraction, and then the particles break apart. We also invented self-healing binders. That means things that will keep the structure intact with special organic materials that we synthesize. So this is the like of innovation that we're using, and we have many more in our system. Everybody talked about the EV market. It's going to be all connected, shared, autonomous, on-demand services. All those new business models will require utilization, and you can only achieve that with fast charging. So the charging infrastructure is evolving. There are like 350 kilowatt chargers spreading out today. You heard from BP yesterday that they just acquired Charge Monster, the largest UK-based charging infrastructure company. But there's only so much that you can do with charging and electricity. you do need to have the right chemistry to support fast charging and enable these very high currents. So we are working very closely with all the ecosystem. We have partners, as I've mentioned before, looking at harmonies of the grid and how you enable fast charging in urban areas and outside of urban areas and public charging infrastructure. But we are focused only on the battery cell itself, on the chemistry of the cell. So to do that, as mentioned before, we brought very strategic partners, each one of them having a different angle. We are working very closely with Daimler to be designed into their cars, and we work with BP on the charging infrastructure and on some smaller form factor applications with the likes of Samsung, TDK, for mass production. We're all about nanotechnology, very tiny particles, very thin coating of electrodes. You need to have the experience, and TDK have the experience at least to set up the process together with us. And timeline-wise, we want to get commercial in 2021 with our EV batteries. Before that, we will have some other releases, but we want to penetrate the EV market in 2021, and we work very hard to make this future a reality now. My time is up, so thank you very much.